Hey guys, we're back again. Premier U Sports right back at you with the Week 8 / postseason roundup. I'm Clarence Presley. To my right is Deshaun Presley. And to my left is Charles Burnham. You guys, it's good to be back.
Definitely,
Yes, sir.
definitely.
We are now in that postseason play.
Yeah, we are.
Money time. It's the reset button.
Yeah, yeah.
It's really 0-0 records at this point. But before we dive into that, let's talk about last week's game of the week. I told you guys it was going to be a barn burner. I told you it was going to be interesting. C-Tech versus CD Junior Squad. We knew that it was going to be a fist fight, and boy, it came down to that. And I told you those elements were a factor.
Right.
Definitely. We were all at the game. You guys got there a little bit later than I did, but I got to see the entire game, man. And I tell you, boy, heck of a game. I think the advantage was to C-Tech Sharks. Somebody said, one of the coaches from C-Tech said something about Panther fur in the water or something. I don't know what they said.
Water and fur don't mix. That's what the word
so
was.
that was some fighting words.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I want to give a shout out to both organizations. They were both really classy. Being down there at Judkins, it was high energy, but for the most part, everybody kept their composure.
Right.
And in that game, man, the speed could not get around the edges, and that power for C-Tech was incredible.
It was, I tell you, the big difference, like you said, the elements, from what I saw, even, and I went on the field a few times, I could see how those kids were having a tough time turning the corner.
Yeah.
Because there was no traction left, because, it was rainfall.
Yeah.
The entire, I got their sophomore game, and it was raining, and it never stopped during the junior game.
Yeah.
So that field got soggy, and it just played right into C-Tac's hands.
Right.
With that grounded out, right up the gut, in between the tackles. Papa's just grinding out 4 or 5, chewing up the clock.
Yeah.
They ate up the clock in the second half.
Yeah, I was actually on the CD sideline. I can't recall who I was talking to. And what he was telling me, he was like, man, we had a wide open lane for one of our kids that caught the ball, and there was nobody in front of him, and he slipped.
Yep.
And so that field played a huge part in this game, going back and forth. Being able on C-Tech side, they were able to use Stitchy Salaveo to be able to go up the middle to kind of soften them up a little bit. Then come right back with Papa, you know what I mean? So it just softened them up. And then after a while, man, you're as a linebacker, you're trying to step up, and you can't step up because you're slipping. You know what I mean? So the elements played a huge part. And I'm not taking anything away from them. I'm not saying that the field is the reason why they won or anything like that. But it definitely did. It definitely did. CD, they had some things in their favor that they could have utilized as far as with speed, but it was just hard to be able to get to those edges.
And I think CD, based on what I saw from the previous week against Miss, I think they really prefer to spread them out.
Right.
But I think just because of the elements, they couldn't, that was making it tough to do and throw the ball in that type of environment. I think it really played into C-Tac's hands.
It did.
I know at one point, man, I was looking at the center of the field, and it looked like it had its own little pool.
Right. Right.
It was mud.
You had to go through that mud pool, man, just to cross over into the other opposing team's area to score. So, but you're right. The president of C-Tech said they've nicknamed Papa the Hammer.
Hey.
So if he's the hammer, then Stitchy must be the nail. The hammer and the nail boy was working. But you got to also give a special shout out to the quarterback for C-Tech. EJ really stayed under composure in that game.
He did.
He even threw some passes that was on target, but that were dropped in the midst of the rain. But it's going to be a rematch, I believe.
I think
at least for that conference championship.
I think so. I think so.
And it's going to be on turf.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it's going to go one way or the other.
I think it'll be different.
But this game was critical for the number one seed.
It was. That's what made it big.
C-Tech now holds the number one seed, and CD is coming in with the number 2 seed going into our playoffs.
Right.
And that gives us a great segue, you guys, to move into our playoff standings. But before we talk about playoffs, let's talk about the play-in shootout. So what I want to do is have Charles, if you can go up to the screen and just show the folks what this playoff shootout is going to look like tonight for those that are in it.
Yeah, so certainly, we've got, of the 4 divisions, we've got three shootouts going on. We've got freshmen, White Center, C-Tech, and SWAC shooting it out for the number 4 seed. So loser goes home, winner advances on to the first round of the playoffs, and will take over that 4th seed in the green division, in the green conference. Sophomores and Sophomores will be on the opposite end, on the south end of the field, because these are sudden death shootouts, and we'll go over the rules here shortly. But you've got Beacon Hill versus SWAC, and then the loser of that game will turn around and play Tacoma Spartans. And because this is a three-way shootout, we got 3 teams playing for 2 spots, the 3 and the 4 seed in the Green Conference. The double elimination, round robin. They'll play each other until somebody loses twice. When that club loses twice, those 2 remaining standing will advance on to be the 3 and the 4 seed in the playoffs in the first round. Over in the junior division, we've got the Tacoma Spartans versus White Center. On the north end at 7 o'clock, 7:30, we've got Ravens versus Lakewood Light for the 4 seed in the grade division. So we've got some great shootouts here, sudden death. The rules are very simple. What we've done is we've modified National Federation of High School rules in order for 2 reasons. A, we want to limit the wear and tear on our kids because they're going to have to turn around and play again in a few days. And we want these settled quickly because it's a school night. People have to travel and get back home and get their kids settled in for the evening. So, and we don't want these to drag on. We've already had a freshman game. We just had another game last weekend. Ravens and
it was Lakewood.
Ravens,
which is why we got this shootout, because these 2 tied last weekend. It went triple overtime.
4-3.
Quadruple overtime. They're supposed to go 3.
Yeah.
But quadruple overtime, and they still couldn't get the score 7. So we don't want to end up with 7 overtimes in a game. In one of these shootouts. So what we've done is, and the rules are posted on the league website, and if you have any questions about it, please go there, download them. There's a PDF available under Rules and Regulations on the Northwest Premier League website. Bottom line is, ball's going to visiting team, and that visiting team will call the coin toss. What we'll designate as the visiting team is the team that won in the head-to-head matchup during the regular season. So if, I believe, SWAC beat White Center at the freshman level, so SWAC will call the coin toss at that juncture, at the beginning of that shootout. And obviously whoever wins the coin toss gets to decide whether they want to take the ball or defer to the second possession. The shootouts will be on the 10-yard line. The first series will start on the 10-yard line. You will have, hopefully someone scores, and you will have the option of going for either 1 or 2. Now we've given teams 2 options to go for 2 points. We will
only in the shootout.
Only in the shootout. Will this rule apply? Is A, you can go for you can pass the ball, but that try will have to start from the 5-yard line. We want to make it a little bit more difficult for you. What we are rewarding teams that can kick field goals, you'll be able to try a normal PAT from the 3-yard line for 2 points. So you can kick it or pass it, but if you're passing it for 2, the ball will be placed at the 5-yard line. Obviously, it's a dead giveaway to the defense when the official puts the ball at the 5. We all know you're throwing it and you're going for 2. But to be fair, because there are some teams that don't have a kicker or they haven't focused on it, but we also wanted to reward those teams that have focused on kicking and have coached it up and developed their kids.
And they can't throw a screen pass. It's a pass.
It's still
but
a
you
pass.
Still got to get in the end zone.
You still got it's got to be either a lateral or forward lateral, one or the other. But it's got to be a pass. It can't be a pitch. And trust me, we're going to be all over this. If it even remotely looks like a pitch, we're gonna stop the play. All right. So 2 points from the 5-yard line or kick it from the 3-yard line. That's up to you. And again, you're kicking off a block or you kick off the turf. You do not kick off of the orange kicking tee. Okay. We had that question come up last week. You will kick off the black kicking block or off the turf itself. It's up to you. The second series, if they tie after that or no one scores in the first series, you go into the 5-yard line. Same procedure. You can go for 2 or you can go for 1. Third series goes from the 3-yard line. That series, you must go for 2.
Correct.
It is required that you either kick it from the 3 yard PAT, or you throw it from the 5-yard line. Okay? You can attempt a field goal on any down.
Any
if
down.
you think
Yep.
your defense can stop them, and you want to just kick a field goal on 4th down, and you're it's 4th and goal, and you're
all
at the
means.
6-yard line,
Right.
or you take a big loss or something, and you
Kick it and win the game.
and you kick it and go for 3 points, that 3's yours, and especially if you're the second possession.
Right.
If you're the B possession, meaning the other team already had their turn, you can still go. You can go for the win with 3. Again, we're going with the highest point total at the end of each series. Okay?
Right.
And a series is each team gets an offensive try.
Yep.
All right.
So let's go ahead and switch you guys over into the playoffs.
Oh, sorry, real quick. If the defense causes a turnover, that is the end of your offensive
Yes.
possession.
Yes.
So
it
if you
is.
throw a pick on first down or fumble it on first or second down, your series is over and the defense now gets the ball.
Right.
Or if they've already scored, now the game's over.
It's over.
And defense cannot advance the ball.
Defense cannot advance the ball, and it's a freak case. I've never seen it happen in an overtime. But if defense, say they pick a ball off, fumble it, or get pushed out of the end zone, and it's called a safety, that just means it's the end of that. They get the ball now, and
Right.
it's their turn on offense.
Right.
Okay, offense doesn't get any points for that safety.
Right.
Okay.
Well, let's go ahead and put up the first round of playoffs. Let's begin to get going with our Saturday game. Based on the field availability, we're only going to be able to field one game on Saturday, and we'll have to do 3 on Sunday. It's just kind of how the cookie crumbles based on scheduling and
High school,
in high
still
school and
playing,
then
yep.
soccer.
Right.
But we're just glad to have stadiums
Yeah,
so we can
yeah.
host all of these teams.
Definitely.
So our first round on Saturday is going to actually come out of the grade conference in this playoff round. And this is going to be Saturday, October 28th at Renton Memorial Stadium. We will have in our freshman matchup beginning at 9 a.m., keeping our same schedule. We got Rainier Ravens versus Auburn Panthers.
Yes, sir.
At our sophomore division at 11 a.m., we have the CD Panthers versus Benson Bruins. At the junior level at 1 p.m., we have the SeaTac Sharks, and they're going to be playing the winner of the shootout, either Rainier Ravens or the Lakewood Light squad, whichever team advances through this shootout.
Right.
And then at 3 p.m. on the senior level, we have the Rainier Ravens versus the SeaTac Sharks. So it's panning out again, you guys. It doesn't matter what the regular season schedule look like.
0-0 now.
It's a 0-0 opportunity for teams. All you got to do is win the next game. And it doesn't matter who's in front of you.
Yep.
Get prepared and get ready to face the team on the opposite side. Now is the time. If you've made it this far,
Win in advance.
win in advance.
Yep. And I know some people had questions about how the games got scheduled, who plays in what stadium. So just to be fair across the board, what we did was instead of we were trying to keep clubs together in certain stadiums, but it just wasn't working out logistically for us and scheduling wise. So what we just said is, hey, great conference, you get Renton Memorial. Your 1-4 seeds are going to play on Saturday. And as you go through the other slides, you'll see that the 2 and 3 seeds for that green conference and the gray conference are moved to those specific stadiums. Some clubs were fortunate enough to have 3 teams of their 4 teams have the exact same seed in every division, so they got to all play in the same stadium.
Right.
So, it ended up being a reward, but that's not how it was meant to be.
It just landed that way.
It
It
landed
is
that
what it
way.
is, and,
Yep.
and we can't control that.
Right.
We can only
Right.
do our best to manage it, and if you start moving teams around, somebody's going to be hurt.
Somebody.
So we have to stick with the structure of 1 versus 4,
Right.
2 versus 3. Which brings me to our next one. On Sunday, our 1 seed versus 4 seed, again, Renton Memorial Stadium. We have on Sunday, October 29th, in the Green Division, or the Green Conference, we have the Puget Sound Lancers, freshmen, will be playing the winner of the shootout, which is going to be going on tonight between SWAC and White Center to see who will advance to that next round.
Right.
At the sophomore division, at 11 o'clock, we're going to have the Puget Sound Lancers again. They'll be playing the winner of this triple shootout. It'll either be Tacoma Spartans, SWAC Cougars, or Beacon Hill Cowboys that they will face. At the junior level at 1 p.m., you have 5-star Cougars who will be playing the winner of the shootout between White Center and Tacoma Spartans. And then at the senior level, we have the Puget Sound Lancers, who will be playing against White Center in the 4th spot on Sunday, Renton Memorial Stadium.
Yep.
Any thoughts on that?
Just a lot of good possible matchups there. I want to definitely send a shout out to Puget Sound Lancers on having their guys in one seeds in 3 of the 4 divisions. So just hats off to you guys, man. Just keep doing what you're doing. You know, we got to survive in advance, like we said. 0-0 now.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So it's a whole new season now. But yeah, definitely hats off to them.
And then we have an additional Sunday game. This is our 2 versus 3. This is going to take place at the Rainier Beach Sports Complex. And we have at our 9 a.m. game in our freshman division, CD Panthers, and they're number 2, just for clarity's sake, so you guys understand. It was a coach's decision. They conceded to take the number 2 spot, although they were tied for first.
Right.
I think it was a wise choice, not wanting to bang up his kids.
Thank you, T.
During the week.
Saved me some work.
So it was, and we also got to give a shout out to Auburn because they were tied with Benson.
Right.
And Auburn said, you know what, we'll take the 4 seed. They're basically saying it doesn't matter who's in front of us.
Right.
We know we got to get through them to get to the championship.
Right.
And so they chose themselves to take those spots, and so we still want to give them their accolades.
Right,
you know,
right.
CD was technically tied for first place in the freshman division in the grade conference, and Benson and Auburn were tied for third. So thank you both for being willing to make those adjustments and to concede, so we can reduce some of the stress on playing in the shootout.
Right.
That again, we're going right back to a dogfight we just had 2 weeks ago. That was a 12-6 game. That was a dogfight. That was a great game.
Right.
So
I
I'm
honestly
excited to
think-
see it again.
I'm actually more excited about the 2-3 matchups this week than the 1-4.
Right.
Not saying that I think the 1-4s are going to be great too, but these 2-3s, based on the history, you know, are going to be some really intense matchups. It's playoff football.
I'd have to say the beautiful thing about it all to me, though, is it always reminds me of college basketball. That literally on any given day, anybody can win. So you could be a 1 and a 4 and have a huge upset. On
We've
that,
had them.
You don't show up
on that day.
You
So
don't show up,
you know,
you
so
could get upset.
I'm just looking forward to just the matchups overall because I know these coaches are going to be coming into these games with saying, look, this is just like the beginning of the season. The rest of that's gone. That means nothing right now. So if we can win today, then we can keep advancing and pretty much shock the world if we need to. You know, let's shock the whole league on how much we've definitely advanced. You know, and how much we've decided to move some things around, and now we like a total different football team.
Well, it happens, right? I've seen teams and even been a part of coaching teams who maybe they've had a couple of poor performances during the season, and then at that moment, right at postseason, all the parts begin to line up, and the coaches also get a broader experience to say, okay, you know what, we're going to do it this way. And some of these coaches are smart; they've been saving some things for postseason. They didn't put all their cards on the table on the front end, and you start seeing players begin to develop in new ways that you didn't see
or
when you came
utilize
to
in different ways.
Exactly, that you can utilize in different ways and maximize their talent and their ability, during these games. So if you sleep on any team coming into the postseason, you're in trouble. So to finish us off, sophomores, we have Auburn Panthers versus
Great battle, man.
C-Tech Sharks.
That's going to be a great battle.
Another great battle coming down the
I'm
pipeline.
going to miss that one. I'll be at Auburn, but that's going to be a good.
That definitely
that's going to be
will.
another good matchup.
Yeah, well, on both sides. I mean, on both sides they have dynamic players. So, I mean, you really can't call this one.
No.
This is another one of them matchups where you're like, man,
Yep.
what? You never know. As long as they perform on this side of the ball, then they may win. But if they perform on this side of the ball, they may win. So it's just
I
hard,
honestly
man.
think that game you're going to see, because both teams are so sound.
Right.
I think whichever team makes the most mistakes is going to lose that one.
Right.
I really think that's what that's going to come down to. Who makes the biggest mistake?
Well, I think that comes down to every one of them.
Right. Oh yeah.
But I think that one's so close. It may not be a very big mistake, but it ends up deciding the game. Turnovers or something. So I'm. That's going to be a tough match.
And shout out to both of those coaching staffs too on both of those squads. Those guys, they on either side, they definitely, every single game that I've seen, they've had their boys prepared. You know what I mean? So that's even more of the reason why I'm like, you can't really call it, because they're gonna do, you know what I mean? They're gonna do what they always do, and they're gonna come out and play great football. So I'm excited to hear and see, because I probably won't be at that stadium as well, but you know, I'm gonna be looking forward to hearing how that one turns out. So
then you got in the junior division, CD Panthers, you know, 7-1 squad with their first loss this past weekend in the Elements. Still dangerous, playing another team, Benson Bruins Juniors, who's very well coached, young team, but very disciplined team. I think that X's and O's. I mean, it's going to definitely be, you know, talent. You know, speed kills.
Yeah,
you know, but at the same time, man, you know, I think it's going to be a chess match. You know, so I know both. Coach Ron and Coach Ed Scott, they'll have their teams ready to go. You know, and I think it's going to be a good first round matchup, man. You know, so I'm looking forward to hearing about that game as well. And then on the senior level, if I'm not mistaken, the senior CD Panthers, when they played Lakewood Light the last time, it came down to one touchdown.
Okay.
I think it was in the fourth quarter touchdown, if I'm not mistaken, in that game. Now, I could be wrong, but from what I was told, I heard it was a heck of a matchup between those two. So
28-21.
Yeah.
Week 6.
Yeah, it came down to one touchdown. So both teams, man, they got to come into this game mentally prepared, mental toughness, discipline, coaches discipline, players discipline, you know, have your schemes ready. You know, hopefully you got a plan, a plan of attack. So you better have one, because if you come out there just tone them off the cuff, it'll be you know, so that's another matchup that I'm looking forward to seeing, you know, with that group. In our last stadium matchup that we have, you guys, we have playoff first round Sunday, October 29th at Auburn Memorial Stadium. And this is, again, the Green Conference, the 2 versus 3. We have, at the freshman level, number 2 is Beacon Hill Cowboys, and they will be taking on the 5-star Cougars, you know, in the 3 matchup. Should be a good game.
Yeah, definitely should. There's that's another matchup, man, that will be, you know, amazing to be able to witness and see on both sides of the ball. They both have dynamic running backs. They're coached by, you know, great coaches. So, I mean, I don't see that as being lopsided at all, you know. And I mean, I believe that it's going to come down to, you know, a fourth quarter score and what defense can hold. You know what I mean?
Beacon Hill pulled that game out. I was at that was a 13-9 game.
Oh, really?
13-9. Beacon Hill pulled that one out.
So it's going to be interesting. You know, like I said, it's 0-0, man. So the past doesn't matter anymore. You know what I mean? So if your game plan is tight, you should be able to get the victory, and both of those teams are sound. So it's definitely going to be a great matchup.
And then in our sophomore division, we have at 11 a.m. 5-star Cougars versus either Spartans, Tacoma Spartans, SWAC Cougars, or Beacon Hill. So that shootout is going to determine a lot, you know, about that game. So that's going to also be a good matchup at that sophomore division. At our junior division, this is the only Lancer team that's not playing with them at Renton. The number 2 team, Juniors, will be taking on the Beacon Hill Cowboys at number 3 at 1 p.m. And then at the senior division, you have Beacon Hill Cowboys at number 2 taking on 5-star Cougars at number 3. So matchup. You know, and again, the reset button has been set, you guys. So teams got to be ready to come out and play this game, you know, and really come with your plan of attack. You know, this is when it all counts. You know what I mean? This is when it all counts. We have been blessed. I went and ordered all the trophies today. So they'll be on time by the following week. We'll be identifying our conference champions, you know, and then we'll be moving to the Premier Bowl, but we'll get ready to hand out the Big Daddies. You know, so let's support our kids, you guys. Let's be there. And I want to make sure that we understand. Let's kill all the extra drama, you know, with the adults.
Please.
No, seriously. We got to make sure all this adult drama is done away with. I want to say this, you know, on the record. You know, it breaks my heart. You know, I know that there was a couple teams in our league who had some forfeit issues based on certification issues. And what I'm going to share with you guys right now, based on rules that were voted in by presidents. We don't vote on those rules. The rules voted on by presidents say that children who are older cannot play down. Children who are younger can play up, but must remain up. And based on our rules, if a child is playing down, then it is an automatic forfeit for that game. I hate to hear about it. We've asked presidents, administrative teams, check your rosters every week. We didn't check them. We're not the ones that call people out for forfeits. Other teams caught them, and when they're caught and they're reported, we have an obligation to enforce the rules that the presidents voted on.
Right.
You know, we didn't vote on them. The presidents voted on them. So if we don't do that, chaos happens. If one team is penalized and then another team isn't,
Right.
that's going to destroy the very fabric of our entire organization.
Exactly.
We're trying to do the best we can to be just and to be fair. Yeah, doggone it. It was a hard situation. Period.
Definitely.
I'm not going to lie to you.
Definitely.
You know, it's a difficult situation.
Just from the kids, the players aspect, they're innocent. To
Exactly.
me, that's the only part that bothers me is we you know, these kids got the rug yanked from underneath them. You know, at a time where they didn't expect to get it yanked towards the end of the season or whatever, in the middle of the season, what have you. And that's, to me, that's it. Those are the only innocent parties here. You know, mistakes were made, human error was made, and we have to move on. We have to hold people accountable and be consistent, like you said, so we don't destroy or question the fabric of our league and our organization.
And just so you guys know the process, just to make it clear, the first step is always the organization, to check your books, to verify your documents. The second step of that is the organization that you're matched up with at certification. That's not league, that's another organization. That organization signs off on verifying your documents. Then those documents are uploaded. What the board members do once the documents are submitted, it's not submitted by divisions, it's submitted just by documents. So if a birth certificate is clear, we're going to check off that the birth certificate is clear. It doesn't show us if that birth certificate was for a freshman level, a sophomore level.
Correct.
It shows us a child.
Right.
And we verify if it was an acceptable document or not. We verify if the school paperwork was acceptable. Hopefully next year we're going to move to straight age to eliminate all this grade age stuff and put us back in tune with the rest of the nation. The other part is, for some of you who are wondering, why is a couple of weeks off? Well, that was actually grace, because AYF rules were actually supposed to look at August 1st as being the cutoff. So that would have put kids back even further. So we've done our due diligence to try to support this. There's no easy answer. You know, my prayers is that people will understand that we're not trying to rob anybody's children from a game. I understand the emotions. You know, I've been there. We were in the league a couple years ago when I was the president of an organization, and a game was taken away from us that wasn't supposed to be, that should have been in protest, that was agreed that it was. And at the playoffs time came, they said no. And just to be honest with you, I get it. It hurts. But one thing that I found out talking to a acquaintance of mine, and I think I mentioned this before, Schwartz out there in Gypsy, he's the president of Gypsy League. He said, Clarence, one thing I've learned over the years is that after kids lose a game or their playoff journey is over or whatever the case may be, it hurts for a minute, you know, but you give them 30 minutes and they're eating ice cream and playing, they're past it. It's the adults that can't get over it, you know, and my hope is that as adults we can be mature enough to still communicate with each other in a respectful manner. You know, we're going to continue to try to do the best that we can to make this thing as strong as we can. It's no perfect system. You know, in everyday life you see that, whether it's in your household or in your workplace, you know, within the government, there's no perfect system. All we can try to do is make things better. So I'm hoping that people can understand that. And even tonight at the shootout, you know, we're coming out there to let the kids play. If they get in, fantastic. If they don't get in, fantastic. Celebrate them anyway. You know, as far as the money that's been paid, they've had a full season. We do our best to try to provide in this league what other leagues may not do. Not knocking other leagues, but we're trying to bring exposure. We're trying to bring things that other organizations don't give access to, and we're going to continue to do that. And we're not holding any grudges and pointing out any individuals, but we do want to continue to strive to be better as a community. That's what we want to do, and that's what I'm driven by. I'm gonna continue to try to be better. So with that said, we're gonna transition. All-Star is gonna be also following up November 17th through the 19th. People have been asking. You have to go on if your child was selected by All-Stars. And let me say this to you guys, because I keep getting these questions. How does someone be an All-Star? And shouldn't everybody be an All-Star? Well, everyone can't be an All-Star. Every team won't be an All-Star. I hate to say it, but it's the truth. We tried that our first year. We allowed every team to submit at least 2 kids to be on an all-star team, and then really what it was an all-league team. Our all-league game now is our jamboree. Everybody gets showcased. We talk about everybody. We gave access to everybody to get their kids in the Seattle Medium. If you're sending the stories to Chris Bennett, he's writing about your kids, giving them exposure. We want to make sure you had a player of the week, a cheerleader of the week, so we can showcase all your kids. We're doing our part to bring exposure to kids. But when it comes down to All-Star, you guys, similar to like FBU or anything else, we have to look at what the coaches recommend, those who follow through. We're not throwing you under the bus, but you guys know if we gave you 3 weeks and we still didn't get nominations from some of you. It's brand new for some of you. We get it. Yeah. But thank God some other coaches recognize players or numbers, of players that they played against, and they put them into the submission format. And we had a deadline. I told you, our uniforms had to be ordered by, really it was supposed to be that Monday. I pushed it out 4 days late, from our deadline, trying to give more grace for teams to get the nominations in. And we didn't get them all. But from the ones we did get, and getting other objective people that are not even involved in the league to comment in and to speak on players that they consider to be the best in their position. And I understand there's some players that may be the best on your team, but when you look in your conference where they're the best in their position on stats, on impact of game, are they the game changer? And then you got to look at record, and not saying every player's record is going to always dictate what type of player they are, but at the same time, we got to consider records. When you look at the NFL or you look at the NBA, we're not doing it on a popularity vote. We're really trying to do it based on the statistical aspect. Just like if a child is going to try out for FBU or if you're going to get with Diamond, they're going to select the best kids to make those teams. At the end of the day, what we're trying to teach our kids, if they don't make it this year, to keep working in the off season to get better next year so that they will.
Come play Northwest Regional.
Exactly. And the
Same weekend.
And the other thing that we have for you guys, and I keep sharing this, that's Saturday when we have these workshops, which to me, really all of this is an excuse for us to get information in front of parents and players on how to better your children, how to give them a greater opportunity to get to college. That's free to everybody in our league. You know what I'm saying? But don't get caught up and consumed on if you get picked for the All-Star game this week or that week. I get it. It hurts sometimes. I've been there. I started off in my AAU time. I was B team. But I worked hard the next couple of years before I made the A team growing up in Little Rock.
B team.
Well, I don't care if you was ever B team, bro. I don't think you made the team.
You're B team in life right now, Chuck.
So
that's just rude.
So at the end of the day, register to go online. Go online and register at www.northwestpremierjuniorfootball.com. If your child was selected, we have been looking at some reserves to fill in spots for kids, alternates rather. So we will keep you in the loop on who those are. We're talking to the presidents. We're not going to take calls from parents. We're not going to let anybody else influence that. It has to come from the president or the AD of that organization to advocate for those kids if there is an alternate. So make sure that you go on to our website and register.
Again, guys, real quick, All-Star Weekend. Those kids that didn't make it, we got Northwest Regionals with the Seahawks on All-Star Weekend Saturday up at Petrovisky Park. And I just got word from the Seahawks. They're going to throw in $1,000 to every division winner to help them pay for their airfare to Orlando, to the Pro Bowl. So winners automatically advance to the Pro Bowl. Your hotel, everything else is all paid for. The only thing they don't pay for is your airfare, and they've called me and told me, hey, we're going to throw in $1,000 at every level to help subsidize your airfare costs for every team. So get involved. Get in. Right now it's $350. You can have a 10-man team. You're talking $35 a kid. You go out there, you win this, and this is not going to be a huge, massive tournament. I got 6 teams coming from down north, about another 6 coming from south. I'm still trying to get some teams in from Eastern Washington and the Central, the Columbia Basin area. But it's not going to be a 100-man team, 100-man tournament. At the best, it might be 40 teams here. So everybody's got a great shot to win, advance to nationals. Go ahead, treat yourself to a great time at Disney World, the resort. I'm telling you, the kids have a blast. Go to the Pro Bowl and participate in pregame festivities. And if you're fortunate enough to make it to the finals at Pro Bowl, guess what? You're playing live on TV at halftime of the Pro Bowl.
Right.
See, this is the access stuff that that I think a lot of people don't know, that we're working behind the scenes to continue to bring exposure and give opportunity to kids, you know, and their families. On top of that, you don't want to miss All-Star Weekend, especially Saturday, because we got a special package deal for some sports training for those that are going to be there. So if you're planning on leaving, you're going to miss your opportunity to get plugged in to some of the best training that you can get for your student athlete. You know, so make sure you're in attendance so you can get more information, you know, about how to tap into the special training packages that we're going to offer to our student athletes in Northwest Premier.
And we got some great news coming up on 7-on-7 for you coaches that want to get more work and time and repetitions with your players in a non-contact format, because we all know how big 7-on-7 is becoming around here. We're about to bring you guys something that hasn't been done up here, and I think you guys are going to love it, especially with our partners who we partnered with on this actual venture. So stay tuned. You'll get all that information. Hope to see all of you out at the Red Lion this on All-Star Weekend, because there's going to be a lot of great new information out there.
Well, thank you guys for tuning in again. So come on out this weekend for the playoffs. Make sure you cheer on all the kids. Root loud for your team, but cheer all kids on. Okay. God bless you. Until the next time, we'll see you next week, Lord willing. God bless.